stated earlier that electrification and flexibility when it comes to the demand side are essential for decarbonization of the supply chain. Can you maybe explain to us here in the room, but also to people watching online, first of what you meant by that, and also specifically why that is?
Haja, thanks a lot. Thanks for inviting me here. Thanks to be part of this excellent conference. I guess we are now entering the next stage of the energy transition. And the next stage, that is about, okay, you mentioned Scope 3 emissions.
Right.
I guess most of us have such a phone in our pocket. And last week I was on a conference with Jim Yoko from Apple. And for them, the Scope 3 emissions from the aluminium is one of their biggest part. And they try hard to decarbonize it. And how now? What is essential for the decarbonization of industrial power? For that, it is essential that we build up more and more renewable energies are the cheapest and the best available source of energy in the world. However, renewable energies with their profile are only cheap if you add flexibility to it. Therefore, the industrial plants that are consuming the renewable energies, they have to flexibilize their production process. Otherwise, the backup costs are prohibitive, because often from a normal profile of renewable energies, if you want to go to a standard, let's say, baseload profile, it sometimes triples your cost.
Right.
And with flexibility, you can substantially reduce that part. Therefore, a big part of our journey is electrification, to get to this part of the decarbonization, to add more and more renewable energies, but okay, to make it cheap, to make it reliable, we need this flexibility.
Right, so it's also about changing our mindset in what we expect, so to say, within these sectors. I like that you mentioned aluminum. I mean, you have a background of over 20 years in the aluminum sort of sector, so to say. But it's also a good example from my side, I think, because it's one of the examples of an energy-intensive industry, right? And if we focus on those specifically, energy-intensive industries, aluminum melters, what would you say is needed there to sort of support renewable resources, but also that grid stability that we need with respect to it?
You saw, okay, I started, let's say, with my iPhone and the Apple journey about, let's say, aluminium. Aluminium, de facto, is an energy carrier. It's the most energy-intensive energy carrier in the world. And if you look back 100 years, for example, my co-founder, let's say, he has his office in Chambéry. Chambéry, that's the entrance of the French Alps and the Maurienne Valley. In the Maurienne Valley, 100 years ago, there were 6 aluminium smelters. And these aluminium smelters were not there because the demand for aluminium was so high, but there was this amount of, let's say, hydropower in these mountains. And they were thinking, how can I transport this hydropower to the markets? And then they found aluminium. And I think now, 100 years later, we are at the same stage. This, let's say, kinds of materials, like aluminium, also iron pellets, that can be used then to use otherwise stranded electricity, for example, in parts of Africa, Namibia, Australia, to produce locally, directly commodities and, let's say, kill 2 birds with 1 stone, meaning, okay, you transport this electricity, but you at the same time decarbonize the material.
So how do we go about doing that? Because that's the golden $1 million question, right? Decarbonizing it, are there any innovative strategies that we can implement for aluminum?
Surely that was something I worked on for many years, to build the strategy of what I called at the time the virtual battery, an aluminium smelter as a virtual battery. So flexibilizing an aluminium smelter to be comparable and to be, let's say, the partner of renewable energies. And that is something, okay, I'm trying now to develop with a lot of smelters and industries worldwide.
Yeah, that's great. Mr. Iffert, we are flying through the time, so I really want to thank you for sharing those insights. I'm sure to the people that are here physically at the conference that they are probably allowed to grab you by the collar and ask you more questions. But it's amazing to see what is happening in terms of innovation already to lead in that process of decarbonization.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot. It was great to talk, and I hope to have encouraged you a little bit that it's possible to decarbonize Scope 3 emissions and that we are on a great mission.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks a lot.